Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I had a different video recorded. It's still recorded, but it's a bit more of a tongue-in-cheek, sarcastic video. So I thought I'd leave it for the minute because obviously with recent events, and my condolences to Bernie's family, I decided just to do a normal video. So in this video, just going to show you this Cottbus 218 which arrived last week, and for the eagle-eyed among you, we'll see that something's changed on that, and we'll come to that shortly. Got these coaches. There's a sad story behind these which I'll come on to in a second. And right at the very end, I've had a few direct messages with regards to buying from abroad. So, you know, about the threshold for customs and all that. I'll leave that to the end because it's more for sort of the UK guys that are buying from places like Germany and France and stuff. And I should tell you how I go about doing it. But just before we get into the video, I've got to say massive thank you to Anthony Dodge, the model train outsider, for doing that video. I was really informative, really well put across, and even for a dummy like me, a technical dummy, I understood it. And now I need to have a look to see if I can. I don't know what printer I'm basically trying to check out reviews of different printers, because there's things like I'd like to make an underpass. Yes, I could scratch build it and stuff, but and the only model kit you can get is kind of Walters or Walthers, whichever way you sort of want to say it. So there's that, you know, armored vehicles, you know, instead of buying them, it'd be good to actually 3D print them myself. So there's a few things that I could use it for and would want to use it for, but after watching Anthony's video, I've saved it. I will put a link in the description for those that might want to do 3D printing. And if you're a technical dummy like me, it really is a very well explained video. It comes across really well, and you know, I understood the processes. You know, basically, you know, I know it's the basic process, but you know, to get you going. So, excuse moi. These coaches, as I said, they're a bit of a sad story. A guy, he lives, and I've left it quite a while before doing this video because just out of respect for him, he was subscribed to me. I don't know why, because you know, he used to come down to the layout and stuff anyway. But last year he sadly passed away, and my wife still sees his wife on a weekly basis, like, you know. So, you know, we are quite sort of close friends with the family. But she came down and said, you know, I'm looking at sort of getting rid of, you know, sort of selling his train collection. And I spoke to one of, you know, these guys that come around to the house, you know, and buy a complete collection and everything. And this is what he offered. I won't mention any names or prices or anything, but I knew roughly what he had, but I wasn't like completely sure. And I said to her, I said, no, I said, absolutely not. I said, you know, that's kind of on the cheeky side. I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll come up, you know, and we'll list it all on eBay, and you'll get much more for it and everything else. So I did that. You know, I spent a weekend around there and we listed it all up. But in the collection was these four. I'm not sure why he brought it. Maybe a bit of influence from my HO, I don't know. But there was these four, and excuse me, I've got a bit of a sore throat today. I know it's a DB, Deutsches Bundesbahn. It's just an odd coach. and I believe it doesn't sound any, but I think it's a Roco. So I said to her, I said, I'd like to actually buy these, if possible. And she said, well, put them to one side, let's list everything else, and, we'll sort something out. So I did that, stuff that I didn't actually know, because there was a lot of older, because it was all DC, a lot of older stuff. I wasn't sure, so I just, did a little bit of research, and yeah, and she sold most of it, and she's packed it and posted it and everything else, and she got literally like 5 times the money that this guy was offering. I was quite angry with the guy, what he offered. I know he's there to make some money and stuff, but basically, old lady, not having a clue on trains, and was hoping for a good deal. Well, luckily there was someone that was into trains that's sort of knew them and said no. So basically, she came round a week later, because I kind of left her now. I actually forgot all about them. She came around a week later and said, "Oh, you've left these." And I'm like, "Well, have you thought about how much you want for them?" And she said, "No, I don't want anything for them." She said, I've made literally 5 times the money that I would have, if I sold to this guy. So she said, "I'd like to gift you this for the help and the work that you put in." And I did feel bad about taking them for absolutely nothing, but yeah, it's it was a nice present, and I was looking for something to go with it. And I was looking, and 110s and all the IC sort of livery locos, and they were just literally astronomically expensive, even for a model barn lippy. So I just and I came across this. It was on sale, and it was under the threshold, and I will come onto it at the end of the video. And it's kind of, obviously, I know it's half and half, but it's got that IC livery at the one end. The only thing I didn't like about it is it's got this, and then it's hard to see, but Pico on one end, and I'll just go this side. Let me just move that out of the way. And Marklin at the other end. So I don't like when companies sort of plaster their name on stuff. It just makes it a little bit cheesy. But I understand that both companies, their design teams came up with the colour schemes and came up with this. I knew before I got it, and this is where the I've already changed it basically, and hence why that pot of paint is. I'll just show you the colour, because it's a really good actually match for the for the bogies. And because this bogie was red. Now, red in plastic always looks a little bit cheap and nasty. And I knew straight away I wanted to, camera focus, get it, I wanted to paint it basically. So what I've done was I used that dark grey from Vallejo, painted the bogie frame on there. I think it looks, personally, I like it much better like this, and just giving it a really light tint of Humbrol rust wash over the top. And yeah, I like it now. I really didn't like the red bogie on it. So I know there's quite a number of guys that have got this, Anthony Dodge, Raymond Legs, and a few others. And yeah, it was under the £135 customs bracket. So basically it was 20% knocked off, as they do on the markdown price when you buy something from abroad. And obviously, they don't charge you the tax on that side. You're supposed to get charged the tax this side unless you stay under the £135. But I'll come on to that in a second. So what I'll do is gonna get these out, pop them on track, and we'll have a little look at it, eh? So we're on track. We'll just, because it was on sale, the DCC ready one was, I think, €110, and this was €140 for the sound version. I thought, well, for €30 difference, I'm gonna have to buy a chip anyway, so I thought I'll spend the extra €30 and it'd already have a chip. I'm not bothered about the sound, but because I'd buy to save €30, get to the UK and still have to put a decoder in, so it was worth the extra 30. So if you do want one, they're in Model Barn and Lippy. They are on sale at the moment, but like I said, I'll come on to that in a second. So let's just run through some functions. Just bear with me a second, because I need to actually switch the function button on. So we should have that's a good start procedure. Horn. Another horn. Another horn. Oh my gosh. Let me just go through the next. Got some lights. So there we go, we've got some sounds. Let's give it a bit of a run. Just bear with me 1 second. Just need to go back. So I was just, because it seems to be quite a bit of a delay. If you see that, I had it going about 3 or 4 seconds before. If you hear my click on the controller, see how that was delayed? So we'll see if we can just connect up to these coaches. Probably don't think they connected, but oh, they did. Crikey. Just giving you a look at the coaches. Not bad for the, again, for the Pico hobby range. Just want to let this one go past. It also got lights on the Steuerwagen. Gotta say, there's a nice sound to that 218. We'll just give you a full view. I've still got the other coach there. I only put 3 on. We'll give it one more run past. Beautiful. So that is why I basically got that 218, was to go with these coaches. It was the best price thing that would kind of fit in with a delivery. And I'm just going to stop it there. And I'm just going to quickly just turn this thing off. So that is the Cottbus Pico 218. Overall, very happy with the sounds. The sign Pico and Marklin on the either end is not big enough for me to even worry about. The only thing I didn't like was the bogey frame being red. It did look cheap and plasticky, but I've resolved that by painting it. It took me like 10-15 minutes to do, and yeah, looks, I think you'll agree, much better. So those that may want to do that, that's the colour I used. I've also, again, this was probably one of the first HO models I got, and will become a static model. I've done one side, I've got to do the other yet, but this will be in some siding, and there'll be some sort of overgrowth around the chassis, and yeah, more of a static model. It is DCC, well, it was fitted, but I pinched the chip out of it because I'm not going to run it. It's just purely more for a static model. So weathered it up just nice. So that's really the end of the video. But for those, especially the UK guys that are wanting to purchase from abroad, now £135, if you stay under £135, you're going to get it tax-free. So if you go on Model Barn Lippy, and I'm just making an example now, you want to buy, let's say, 2 coaches, and just say they cost £100 each. I know they don't, but just say they do. Now, it is cheaper to buy 1 coach, because it might be listed as £100 on their website, but straight when you go to the checkout, it'll deduct it by 20%. So it'll bring it down to £80 plus your £10 delivery charge. So it'll come to a cost of £90. Now, if you bought both together, you would get it'll be £200, but take off the 20% will bring it to £160 plus your £10 delivery, which will bring it to £170. Now, because you've gone over the £135, you're going to get charged the 20%, you know, what you didn't get charged on the other side, plus a customs fee. So it'll work out to another 60 quid on top. So you'll end up paying £225. So buying them, even with the postage, buying them singular at £90 with delivery, which works out to 180, is still £45 cheaper than buying two together, if that makes sense. And it's the only way I can really explain it. So the best way to do is buy lots of, you know, even if it's singles, you know, or, you know, as long as you stay under that £135, you're not going to get charged the customs. So basically they become tax-free, because you don't pay tax that side and you won't pay tax on this side, and you won't get paid. I know some items you buy a loco, say, I don't know, €200, you're not going to get away with it most of the time. Sometimes you can, like with Model Barn Lippy, they've got a MSL bonus, which you get 3% cash back on all your purchases. I think I've got about €28 in my MSL, so I'm building that up. So when I do see a loco that is over that £135 threshold, I can use my MSL to bring it under the £135, and again I'll save on it being tax-free. But when you hit the checkout button, you'll see what the price relates to in English pounds. You know, they already deduct, because, you know, UK is now a third country, as in for exports, so it automatically gets deducted straight away. So if it's £100, it'll, you know, at the checkout you'll see it'll be £80. So that is the best way I can explain it. And as I said, it's better to buy a couple of coaches at a time than buy 6 coaches in one bundle, because it'll work out much cheaper. And like I said, you know, you won't get the customs charge every time as well. So that is my tip on the sort of customs thing. So that wraps it up for this video. I hope you like the new edition. I think I'm coming to the end of sort of purchases, apart from my pre-orders that will be coming throughout the year. I think I've got 6 or 7 of them. But yeah, I've just been trying to obviously get all the stuff together that I want from the UK. There's some scenery stuff I've got to try and invest in before I go, stuff that I know I'm going to need. And yeah, I kind of almost got everything that I would really like, apart from those pre-orders. And yeah, just literally now just waiting to move. Just got all my medical crap to deal with now. But I've got one more video, the tongue-in-cheek video, which I'll upload. I'll probably post it in a week or two's time. But once again, thank you, Anthony, for doing that video. I really appreciate it. It was really good, really enjoyed it. And as I said, I'll put the link in the description. So bye for now, and I'll see you next time. Look after yourselves, guys.